triclinium hung thick with the scent of roasted peacock and the cloying perfume of wealthy matrons. 17-year-old Livia Valeria traced the rim of her wine cup, the cool metal a small comfort against the heat of the Roman evening and the stifling pressure of her father's gaze. Across the low table, Senator Cornelius, a man whose jowls trembled with every hearty laugh and whose eyes held the cold calculation of a seasoned merchant, expounded on the virtues of his country via. Livia knew this ritual well. It was the third such dinner this month, each one featuring a different eligible and usually elderly man deemed suitable by her father, Tribune Lucius Valeria. A most advantageous match, Livia, her father had whispered earlier, his voice tight with anticipation. Cornelius has extensive land holdings near Bay, and his connections in the Senate are robust. Think of the security it offers our family. Security. The word tasted like dust. Livia knew her family's fortunes, while comfortable, were precarious in the volatile political climate of Rome. Ever since the Emperor Nero had ascended the throne, the winds of favor shifted with alarming speed. Today's favored senator could be tomorrow's exile, his wealth confiscated, his family ruined. Lucius Valeria, a man of cautious ambition, sought to anchor his family's future by marrying his only daughter into established power. But Livia harbored a secret ambition of her own, one far removed from the gilded cages of advantageous marriages. In the quiet hours before dawn, huddled by the flickering light of an oil lamp in the small antechamber she claimed as her own, Livia read. She devoured scrolls smuggled from her brother's tutor's study, histories, philosophies, even illicit poetry that spoke of freedom and feeling, concepts starkly absent from her own life. Her mind was a secret garden, blooming with thoughts she dared not voice aloud. Tonight, surrounded by the clatter of servants and the drone of Cornelius's voice, Livia felt a familiar wave of despair. Was this her destiny? To be chattel, traded for political leverage, her intelligence and curiosity left to wither like unwatered vines? She glanced towards the far end of the triclinium, where a group of senators and their wives clustered around a figure draped in purple. Even from a distance, the air crackled around Emperor Nero. Tonight he seemed in a jovial mood, his laughter echoing loudly, but Livia had heard the whispers of capricious cruelty, of rivals eliminated, of the ever-present threat he posed to anyone who crossed him. His power, immense and absolute, was a constant, terrifying backdrop to their lives. Nearby, the stoic figure of Seneca, the emperor's advisor, listened with an impassive face, a man rumored to navigate the treacherous currents of court with unparalleled skill. These were the figures who shaped the empire, their decisions rippling down to affect the lives of ordinary citizens like her family, dictating who held power, who fell from grace, and who married whom. Senator Cornelius finally wound down his speech, his eyes fixing on Livia with an expectant gleam. "So, my dear Livia," he boomed, reaching across the table to pat her hand, a gesture that made her skin crawl. "Do you find the prospect of life in Bay appealing? The sea air is most invigorating. Livia forced a smile, a mask she had perfected over years. It sounds delightful, Senator. The lie tasted bitter on her tongue. Delightful to be whisked away to seaside villa with a man older than her father, far from her precious scrolls and the quiet rebellion of her mind. Later, under the cool Roman stars, Livia walked the inner courtyard, the scent of jasmine heavy in the air. Her father approached, his face softened slightly by relief. Cornelius was most impressed, he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. He will make a formal offer within the week. You have done well, Livia. This alliance will elevate our standing. Livia turned away, her heart a lead weight in her chest. And what of my wishes, father? Lucius sighed, a sound of weary exasperation. Wishes? Livia, you are a Roman woman of good family. Your wishes are secondary to your duty. Your duty is to your family, to make a good marriage, to secure our future. Do you not understand the precariousness of our position? The emperor is unpredictable. We need strong alliances. But I want to learn, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I want to read, to understand the world, not just a broodmare for political gain. Her father's expression hardened. This foolishness must cease. Learning is for men, for scribes, for philosophers. Your role is clear. Do not bring shame upon our house with such ridiculous notions. He turned and walked away, leaving Livia alone with the weight of his expectations and the vast, indifferent sky. She knew he wouldn't understand. How could he? His world was one of patronage, power, dynamics, and survival in a brutal political arena. Her world, her real world, was in the rustle of papyrus, the elegance of a well-turned phrase, the quiet thrill of a new idea. It was a world she had built in secret, a sanctuary where she was not just Livia Valeria, daughter of Tribune Lucius, but a mind yearning for knowledge, for a voice of her own. The next few days were a blur of preparations. Fabric merchants arrived with bolts of fine linen and silk for their trousseau. Servants bustled, polishing silver and discussing the wedding feast. The city outside hummed with its usual chaotic energy, oblivious to the small personal tragedy unfolding within the Valeria household. News filtered in of the emperor's latest public appearance, his extravagant spending, the rumors of plots and counterplots at the heart of the empire. These distant machinations felt both overwhelmingly powerful and utterly irrelevant to Livia's immediate fate. One evening, seeking solace, Livia slipped away to the small chamber where she kept her forbidden scrolls hidden beneath a loose floor tile. She pulled out a worn copy of Sappho's poems, her fingers tracing the familiar words of love and longing. As she read, a line seemed to leap from the page. Someone, I tell you, in another time will remember us. Suddenly, a wave of clarity washed over her. Perhaps her life would not be the grand public spectacle her father envisioned. Perhaps she would never wield political power or command legions. But she had her mind. She had her words. Even if they were confined to the hidden pages of her own writing, even if no one else ever read them, they were hers. They were a defiance, a claim to her own identity in a world that sought to erase it. She knew she could not escape the marriage. The forces aligned against her were too great, but she could create something within the confines of her new life. She could continue to read, to think, to write in secret. She could cultivate that hidden garden of her mind, ensuring that the woman she was, the woman she wanted to be, did not disappear entirely. The secrets of the Roman Empire were not just the conspiracies whispered in the Senate or the hidden vices of the emperor. They were also the quiet personal rebellions waged in the hearts of those who sought to live authentically in a world that demanded conformity. Livia Valeria, facing a future dictated by power and ambition, found her own ambition, a fierce, quiet resolve to keep the flame of her true self burning, a secret light in the heart of the empire. As she carefully returned Sappho's scroll to its hiding place, a new resolve settled within her. She would go to Bay. She would marry Senator Cornelius, but she would not be erased. Her secrets, her words, her thoughts, they would be her own, a testament to a life lived not just for duty, but for the unyielding pursuit of self, a pursuit that transcended the boundaries of her time and echoed in the quiet struggles of countless others, then and now.